You ever feel the air get sucked out of a room over something small? Something so ordinary it shouldn't mean anything, shouldn't even register? For me, it was a shirt. Just a damn shirt, folded neatly on top of our laundry pile like it belonged there. But it didn't. I knew that the second I touched it. I'd just gotten home from a long shift, overtime again. My back was aching, and all I wanted was a hot shower and a cold drink. I dumped my keys in the bowl by the door and headed straight for the laundry room to grab a clean towel. That's when I saw it. Buttoned down, navy blue, faint bleach stain on the collar. Not mine. At first, I thought maybe it belonged to a guest, someone she was helping with dry cleaning, or a favor for a friend. God knows she's always doing those. But something about the shirt felt wrong. Like the smell. Not cologne exactly, but someone else. Another man's skin. That kind of smell stays, even after the wash. I stared at it longer than I should have, trying to place it. Then it hit me. Her ex Dylan. We'd been together 6 years. Married for 3. And while his name hadn't come up in a long time, I still remembered the early days when I used to find traces of him around. A framed picture half hidden in her desk drawer. A playlist she kept labeled driving songs that was full of the kind of indie junk he loved. I'd asked her once, early on, if they still talked. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "He's out of my life. For good." And I believed her. God help me, I believed her. That night, I didn't bring it up. I folded the shirt, placed it back exactly where I found it, and poured myself that drink. My chest felt tight. Not with rage, not yet. With confusion. With that sick kind of uncertainty that makes everything you thought you knew start to wobble like a bad table leg. I didn't sleep well. I kept waking up, expecting to find her gone. But there she was, next to me, curled up like always, breathing soft and slow. She looked peaceful. She looked like someone who didn't know a damn thing was wrong. But I did. The next morning, I brought it up as casually as I could. "Hey," I said over coffee, "saw a shirt in the laundry yesterday. Didn't recognize it. Is it yours?" She blinked at me. Just a second too long. "A shirt?" "Yeah. Navy button-down. Not mine." She sipped her coffee, buying time. "Oh, it's just an old memory." An old memory. That's what she called it. Like I'd found a dusty photo album, not evidence of something that didn't sit right. I played dumb. "Whose memory?" She gave a little laugh, like I was being dramatic. "It's just a shirt, babe. Probably from years ago. Dylan left a few things when we broke up. I must have thrown it in without thinking." Without thinking. Sure. But she was lying. I knew it, even if I didn't have proof yet. There's a difference between forgetting a box in the attic and folding another man's shirt and placing it on our clean laundry like it belonged. And the thing was, she wasn't careless. Not with stuff like that. She always noticed when I left a sock on the floor. Always caught the smallest details. So why now, of all things, would she not notice that shirt? I didn't push it. I smiled, nodded. No big deal. But inside, I was cataloging everything. Her expression, her tone, the way her eyes didn't meet mine. I went to work that day, but my head stayed back in that kitchen. Stuck on that phrase. Just an old memory. I couldn't let it go. Not yet. So that night, after she fell asleep, I got up and went through the laundry bin again. The shirt was gone. Not folded away. Gone. Vanished. Like it was never there. And that confirmed it. She hadn't forgotten it was his. She just hadn't expected me to notice. Or care. She was wrong. I started watching. Small things. Subtle. The way she'd smile at her phone, then flip it over if I came near. The way she started running errands more often, staying out just a bit later. No huge red flags, just shifts. Quiet ones. I checked our joint calendar. Nothing unusual. But I remembered something. Dylan's birthday was coming up. I only knew because we'd argued about it 1 year when she forgot to delete a calendar notification. She told me she hadn't realized it was still there. This time, it wasn't there at all. But that was the trick, wasn't it? If you want to hide something, you don't leave it behind. You remove it completely. So I waited. Watched. Let it play out. A few nights later, she said she was meeting friends for drinks. Usual spot, usual time. I pretended to believe her, even kissed her on the cheek before she left. I even waved as she drove off. But I didn't stay home. I followed. Not because I didn't trust her. Because I did once. And that trust had a navy blue collar and bleach stain. She didn't go to the bar. Not even close. She drove to the east side of town, parked near a row of condos. I watched from a block away as she stepped out, checked her reflection in the window, then walked up to Unit 14B. And she knocked. My heart dropped when the door opened. I couldn't see his face, but I didn't need to. She smiled the way she hadn't smiled at me in weeks, brushed something off his shoulder, and then she stepped inside. The door closed, and I sat there, parked in the dark, gripping the wheel like it could keep me from falling apart. I didn't cry. Not yet. But something inside me shifted. A quiet kind of heartbreak. The kind that doesn't scream. It just sinks. I didn't go home that night. Just drove around, headlights carving silence through empty streets while my thoughts refused to settle. I kept circling the same questions. How long had this been going on? What did he have that I didn't? Was it about him at all? Or had something in us broken without me noticing? It's funny what you start second-guessing. Conversations you thought were harmless. Looks you brushed off. Nights she said she was tired. And maybe she was. Or maybe it wasn't me keeping her up. Around midnight, I parked near the lake. We used to come here back when everything felt simple. Before mortgages, deadlines, and the slow erosion of intimacy. I sat on the hood of my car, the air cold against my skin, and tried to remember the last time she looked at me the way she looked at him. I couldn't. I didn't sleep. At sunrise, I drove home, showered, and made her coffee like I always did. Cream, no sugar. She came in wearing the same clothes as the night before, her hair quickly tied back. Her eyes flicked to the coffee, then to me. You're up early. I smiled. Couldn't sleep. She nodded, sat down, and scrolled her phone. Just like that. No guilt. No apology. No explanation. That morning, I decided I needed answers. Not a fight, not a confrontation, answers. So while she was at work, I went searching. Not in a crazy way. Not tearing apart drawers or hacking into her accounts. Just looking. Carefully. Quietly. It didn't take long. Top drawer of her nightstand. A stack of notebooks, old receipts, lip balm, and beneath it all, a small black box. The kind jewelry comes in. I opened it. Inside was a ring. Not the one I gave her. Different. Simpler. Worn down at the edges, like something that had been slipped on and off 100 times. Beneath it, a folded note in handwriting I didn't recognize. I still think about that weekend in Austin. You wore this and nothing else. D. My stomach twisted. I sat on the edge of our bed, the box in my hand, and tried to remember what I was doing that weekend. Probably fixing the sink, or planning her birthday, or booking flights for a trip we never took. The betrayal wasn't just in the cheating. It was in the fact that I had made space for her in every part of my life, while she was tucking pieces of him into the corners of ours. I didn't take the box. I didn't destroy it. I just put it back, exactly how I found it. That night, I was different, and she noticed. Everything okay? She asked while brushing her teeth. Yeah, I said. Just tired. We crawled into bed, our backs to each other, a foot of cold space between us. That week, I started planning. Not revenge. Closure. There's a difference. Revenge is fueled by fire. It wants to burn everything down. But closure? That's ice. Still. Calculated. Honest. I started moving money into a separate account. Quietly. No sudden changes that would set off alarms. I talked to a lawyer friend under the pretense of reviewing our will. I pulled my name off the lease of her car, one I was still paying for, and I began writing something. Not a speech. Not a letter. A list. Things I gave her. Things she gave him. And in between, all the things we lost. I watched her closely, now that I knew what to look for. She was careful, but not careful enough. The meetings ran longer. Her phone never left her side. She laughed at her texts again. The kind of laugh she used to save for me. One evening, we had dinner with friends. I played the part. Laughs, stories, arm around her waist. Everyone said we were couple goals. I wondered how many of them were lying too. That night, back at home, she kissed me on the cheek and said, "Thank you for tonight. You've been really wonderful lately." I nodded, just trying to be a good husband. She smiled, guilty, like she heard the weight behind the words. The next morning, I found something new in the laundry. Not a shirt this time. A receipt. Dry cleaning. 2 items. Men's sizes. Pickup scheduled for Friday. I stood there staring at it, wondering what it felt like to be so brazen. So sure I wouldn't notice. Or maybe, so sure I wouldn't care. That Friday, I left work early. I went to the dry cleaners myself. Gave her name. Said I was picking up for my wife. The attendant handed me a bag without question. Inside were 2 shirts. Both his. Still smelled like starch and unfamiliar cologne. On the way home, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just drove in silence, the bag in the passenger seat like a passenger I didn't invite. I got home, made dinner, set the table. She came in, smiling. Smells amazing. I poured the wine, served the food, and then I handed her the bag. What's this? She asked. Your memory, I said. You left it at the cleaners. Her face went pale. She didn't speak, and I didn't need her to. I stood, picked up my plate, and walked to the kitchen. She followed. It's not what you think. I paused, turned. Then what is it exactly? Her mouth opened, closed. She stared at the bag like it might answer for her. I didn't mean for it to happen again, she whispered. Again. That word told me everything. And nothing. I nodded, walked past her, went upstairs. That night, I didn't sleep in our bed. And she didn't ask me to. The morning after she admitted him, there was a strange stillness in the house. Not quiet in the peaceful way. Quiet like an empty church. Something sacred, but abandoned. I didn't make breakfast. I didn't say goodbye when I left for work. And she didn't text. Not once. The silence between us stretched for days. A rope we both held, but neither dared to pull. I slept in the guest room. She stopped trying to explain. I think she knew there were no words that could fix what was already broken. But she didn't leave. And neither did I. It's a strange kind of hell, that limbo. Living with someone you once loved so fiercely, and now can barely look at. Sharing coffee mugs, crossing paths in the hallway, brushing hands by accident while passing the salt. Each touch a ghost of what used to be. Each silence a scream you swallow. One evening, I found her in the laundry room again, folding towels like nothing had happened. And there, next to her, sitting atop a freshly washed stack, was his shirt. Again, not hidden, not buried, just there, like a dare. I picked it up, held it between two fingers like something rotten. She didn't look up. I told you, she said quietly, it's old. I just haven't thrown it out. No, I said, my voice low. You haven't. I walked out without another word, the shirt still in my hand. I went to the garage, lit a match, and watched it burn inside the old grill. The flames were small, quiet, like it was ashamed to be seen. The cotton curled, blackened, vanished. A memory turned to ash. She didn't ask about it later. But that moment changed something in me. I'd been stuck between anger and grief, unsure of which one deserved more of my time. But that shirt, that one last, blatant symbol of her carelessness, gave me clarity. I stopped waiting for her to apologize the way I needed. I stopped looking for some grand confession or a reason that would make it all make sense. Instead, I started packing. Not like a man in a rush. Not like a man running away. Like someone walking out of a museum they've already memorized, room by room, frame by frame. I'd studied her lies long enough. I didn't need another tour. She found me halfway through folding the sweaters she once said made me look safe. You're leaving? She asked, voice small. I'm done, I said, not unkind. You already left. You just never walked out. Tears welled up in her eyes. But I didn't move. I didn't reach for her. This was supposed to be forever, she whispered. I nodded. It was. She stepped closer. It didn't mean anything. Then it should have been easy to let go of, I said. But you couldn't. Not even the shirt. Her shoulders shook, but I stayed still. Not cold. Just done. I zipped the suitcase. Walked it to the door. She followed, barefoot, hands clenched at her sides. Where will you go? I don't know yet, I said. But wherever it is, it'll be mine. It won't have ghosts in the laundry. She opened her mouth to speak, then stopped. And that was it. No grand fight. No final kiss. Just a man walking out the door with a bag and a weight lifted, even if it still hurt like hell. It's been months since that day. I found a small apartment downtown. One window, one coffee cup, one towel. I keep the place clean. Simple. Honest. Sometimes I catch myself looking at the laundry pile, half expecting something that doesn't belong. But it's just mine now. Every sock. Every shirt. No more borrowed pieces of a story I wasn't invited into. She once called that shirt an old memory. I made sure it stayed there. Alone.